with most people staying home at the moment, our pets are loving the extra time and affection they're receiving. But when life goes back to some sort of normalcy, we're going to be worried about our pets. How are they going to feel, Dr. Richard?
Well, it's going to be a slightly rough transition for some of them. If they're kind of used to having the best friend around all the time.
I know, I've got one dog on either foot at the moment.
Really?
Yes, they're like literally, and if I get up,
loving it.
They just love it. They just think it's the best thing since life's bread. I'm home all the time. If I sit anywhere, they're just like all over me.
Oh,
it's pretty adorable.
And it's awesome now, but obviously we can't provide that long term.
No.
So I think what we don't want to do is go from like continual contact and continual, positive reinforcement to just leaving the house and no one's there. It's going to be a rough transition, right?
It is. You're like, what? Where's my foot?
Yeah,
I can't sleep without that.
And so we're going to anticipate a lot of dogs developing at least short to medium term some separation anxiety. Okay. So to soften the blow, we probably need to get them started to get used to the idea of us being out of the house. A couple of things you could do would be just try to develop a routine that we can then sort of gradually sort of transition to working life. So let's say the huge run in the morning. Okay, so run the hell out of them in the morning. And I know we talk about this a lot when we talk about barking and separation anxiety. But very first thing would be, totally take them out to the park, run and run and run. But very first thing is a consistent routine. We've got some time because we're at home. If they don't know how to fetch, now's a really good time to teach them to fetch a ball and retrieve it and drop it, because that allows us to exercise them very energetically. So we can use this time to learn how to run the hell out of them, let's say. Because keep in mind, you and I just putting them on a lead, taking them for a walk, it's not exertional enough for most dogs. Like they're way more athletic than we are. So teaching them to sort of fetch and bring it back it's a good skill to learn right now. So if we can get them in the habit of doing that at a time that we can maintain once we're working again, that's a really good start. We can also use this time to teach them how to use the puzzle toys. And again, I know this is kind of treading trodden ground here because we talk about it with barking and separation anxiety. But look, you've got time. So, grab a couple of toys and stuff them with treats and see what they can work out. And ideally, you want a toy that is going to keep them engaged for about 20 to 30 minutes kind of thing. And instead of feeding them just food in a bowl, start to feed them in the treat toy. So get them used to using it. So it's not this weird foreign thing as soon as we give it to them to help our transition away. The other thing we can do is look at triggers that might get them wound up and start desensitizing them to those triggers. So think of like grabbing your keys. Dogs that are quite anxious, as soon as we grab our keys, they start, they sort of switch on, they get freaked out. Whereas what we can do is we can just grab our keys and wander around the house like nothing's happening. And we can sort of desensitize them to those triggers. But really what we need to start doing is doing all the above. So the intense exercise, teaching them to use the treat toy. But we do need to start leaving the house in small increments while we can, and then gradually increase the duration that we're away. Most of the time, separation anxiety lasts for about 40 minutes. Depends on the dog. Some dogs it's like all day, right? But really, if you give them the run, give them the treat toy, grab your keys, and then maybe just walk out of the house for 2 minutes. Then do that every day. Then if they're pretty good, leave for 5 minutes, and then leave for 10 minutes, and 20 minutes, and then a couple of hours if you can. But essentially, you just want that graduated exposure to the negative experience, which is you going away, with a positive reward associated with it, which is going to be our treat toy that we're feeding them with, and having burnt off all of this nervous / anxious type energy. So if we do that, then
they should sleep, hopefully.
hopefully hopefully that you'll go and they'll think, okay, this is awesome because A, they'll be back quickly, so I'm not worried.
Yeah.
B, I'm really hungry and I'm going to get a treat, but I have to really focus on the treat. I have to really redirect my attention and energy towards this toy to get the reward. So I can't just, smash the bowl of biscuits and go back to being anxious. I have to really focus on that sustained positive reward there. So if we do that, then we can probably, we should be able to reduce the severity and the likelihood of, getting these dogs who are just glued to us all day, having them develop all this separation anxiety. But we're anticipating some pretty anxious dogs, once we're back. But yeah, you just need to soften it like that.
So what if your dog is already highly strung? What's your advice there? Obviously, it's the same.
If you've done everything, do everything we've discussed. Yeah, totally. Advice is the same. Look, some dogs are truly anxious, and no amount of exercise and training, positive reward can curb it well. And so those guys, we do look at medicating. Having said that, it's very, very necessary that we address all of the environmental and behavioral problems first, and then just medicate the small percent that we're not having success with. I think occasionally our expectation is kind of flipped, and we think, we'll medicate and do a bit of training, and the medications are going to make all the difference. But both in terms of success and your pet's health, you sort of want the training first. It is more effective than the medications. I've had some dogs where owners have been very busy and we've just medicated, and they're doing the same behavior, but they're just doped out as hell. And it, so it's not really helping the dog.
No. I think that I'm actually going to be the one that's going to suffer the most, not being able to work without my dogs.
Sure. Okay.
So what can you do for us humans? No, I'm joking.
A Kong toy. Lick the peanut butter out, So
I love it.
Go for runs.
I love it. So how can you prevent, is there anything else we can do to prevent separation anxiety besides just not leave your dogs ever?
Because keeping in mind that it's a social thing. Dogs are most dogs are very naturally social animals. And, there's puppy daycare. There's having a friend's dog over. There's having more than one dog. But no, they would be your fundamental ones. Yeah.
Get another puppy.
Well, it's a big call. You got to make sure they're compatible. But after a certain threshold, some dogs, they do kind of form a pack where they entertain themselves more. Yeah. My friend is her family has 5 dogs, and they became very independent after there was 5 of them. I wouldn't recommend it, but that's that's a reasonable pack size for a dog. Some of them have packs of 3. Some packs of 5, and naturally some domestic dog packs are 12 to 15. So we're kind of putting them in a rather natural situation where there's just one of them at home by themselves. Most dogs, not all dogs, but most dogs would prefer to have company. So.
Yeah, like all of us. So there you have it. If you are worried about your dog, obviously, if you're going back to work after this COVID situation, you're a bit worried, try all those tips. I think they're fantastic. But if you are really, really struggling, or you have any issues at all with your pet, go and see the team from Cairns Vets. And I noticed cats aren't a worry.
Cats do not.
Cats just don't care.
No, they don't care at all. Actually, one of my cats gets a little bit anxious when we go, but he's a special case. So.
It's mostly dogs.
Mostly dogs. You got
your cats are going to be happy you've gone back to work.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.